going to be looking at is called A Real Derwin by Jhumpa Lahiri in the book Interpreter of Maladies. Now, the plot of this book is around a woman called Burima. She's 64 years old. She sweeps the floor of an apartment building in Calcutta, Bangladesh. And as she sweeps, she always tells stories about her past being lavish, marble floors, everything, whatever you ask for. No one really believes her because why would a rich woman end up sweeping streets, right? But she always ends her stories with "Believe me, don't believe me." That's her phrase, her signature phrase, you can call it. Now, one day, Mr. Dalal, which is the husband of Mrs. Dalal, who actually promises Burima new bedding when she sees that her bedding is old, brings in two new sinks. One sink for common use in the building and another sink for him, for his apartment. The other tenants get jealous and start renovating the building to show that they can also renovate it, and Burima gives up looking after all the workers that are coming in and out. So she starts going to the market. One day when she goes to the market and comes back, the common use sink is stolen and the tenants blame her for it. Now, she, of course, didn't do it, we know, but the tenants all think that she did and she organized with the thieves. Now, as she's in the market that same day, her skeleton keys get stolen. Her keys that opened the box to her life savings are her skeleton keys. And these keys have always been with her. She always rattled them when she tells her stories and everything. So they got stolen that day, and that same day she comes back to the tenants thinking that she arranged the theft. Now, they kick her out because they think, well, she arranged it. And then as she's kicked out, she keeps saying, believe me, which is ironic. Now, the structure of this book is opening incident, turning point, transitions, and conclusion. The incident being the bed sheets getting ruined and the promise Mrs. Dalal gives her to give her new bed sheets. The turning point is when Mr. Dalal brings in the new sink. The transition goes from Burima's phrase, believe me, don't believe me, to believe me, believe me. And the conclusion is her being set off into the street. The style of this story is third person. It helps the reader take the perspectives of everyone in the book with an unbiased point of view. It also makes the reader side with Burima at the end of the story. If it was in first person, we might not have believed her because she might have just simply lied. The lenses that can be applied are social power, political, feminist, and post-colonial lens. Now, the status quo at that time was that India and Pakistan had recently had their partition, and we know that Burima is a refugee because of that. The caste system, we can see over here somewhere, is still affected the community. Now, Burima was at the bottom because she was a street sweeper and she was paid with food and shelter. She's also a woman, which forces the reader to use the gender lens to analyze her position in the story. She might not have been considered a real Derwin because she's not a man. Now, the post-colonial lens can also apply to this story. The colonizers, England, are the ones responsible for the partition and forcing Burima out of her home and going into somewhere else, and seemingly out of her lavish lifestyle that some choose to believe, some choose not to believe that she lived. Some symbolism, in the story are as follows. The skeleton keys symbolize Burima's power and the sinks represent wealth. Mr. Chatterjee also represents something. He is a character that always sat on his balcony and never wanted to hear anything about the partition. It might be the community that Burima chose to live in. Another story from the same book, Interpreter of Maladies, is called The Treatment of Bibi Haldar. Now, Bibi Haldar is this woman, 29-year-old woman who has an uncurable disease, seemingly uncurable, but she keeps getting diagnosed by priests, by doctors, and everyone says something different. Until one day, a doctor says she needs a man to get cured. Now, at this time, she's living with her cousin and his wife in their house, and they find out that his wife is pregnant.